'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Time ticks and decays, never to return, never to feel whole. Isn't it so easy to lose yourself in time, to draw a finish line, to give yourself to one beyond what's good and bad? It kills me not to know. Lost beyond the air.
Hello and welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company. I am your dungeon master and all-around try-to-be-good guy, Heath, a.k.a. Captain Sack, a.k.a. the Dire Bear GM. With us tonight, we have Maddie, who is playing Annalise, Steve, who is playing Gillet, and Chief, who is playing Arneth. Jack, who is playing Yenfear, will be joining us, albeit a bit late. She is currently en route to her home. And I would like to give a huge, amazing shout out and all of my love to Maddie, who at the last minute fixed the layout, the overlay, because her DM forgot to tell her that one of the players wasn't going to be here tonight. And who knows, maybe not ever. Because
I highly doubt that.
Well, you know me by now.
I highly doubt that Ryan is going to be gone. He just can't make it this week.
No, he actually cannot make it this week. But last week, there was a sacrifice that cost them. But at what cost, we don't know. As a deal was struck, and Lucky shook the hand of a well-dressed, well-groomed man, promising him riches. They swapped places, freeing what they know to be as Ugdithar. Supposedly, he who sows destruction and desolation in his path. Heartbroken and reluctant, they left the castle as it started to crumble. And traveling in silence and the world around them reflecting the sullen feeling that they have, they made their way back to Adelar. Gray clouds hang over the city. The people themselves look dour. They look tired. They are not the livelihood of people that they saw when they last left them, a celebration because of the return of the children. They look as though they are weary and weak. The party finds itself standing at the crossroads in the middle of Adelar. The mayor's door stands open as always, a testament to his willingness to work with anyone who comes by. The anvils ring out sad tones from the craftsman hall, and the marketplace is, even though it's early still in the day, it's not really bustling with life. It seems like people are there to buy a few things and go. There's not much in the way of customers from the small town. Maybe it's the threatening onset of rain and storms in the sky. Perhaps there's something more to it. Party. As you pull up into the middle of the town there, the crossroads. Where do you go from here?
Did we want to get a room? Stay in the town, or do we want to go see if Guild has anything that we can do?
I mean, I remember we got notes from old I mean, okay, we got notes from old Adelar, from the learned sisters, Aura and Orla. Didn't they have the translation have a different name than Ugdithar? I mean, should we just look for trouble? Is this let's look for trouble. Let's go to the guild. They'll have trouble for us.
All right. If you want.
There's not much in the way of an adventurer's guild here. There is one, but it's not much of a... It's more like there's a board tacked up with a few jobs on it, and there's part of the mayor's office is loaned out like a countertop for them to use. The board has one tattered looking piece of paper reflecting the surroundings that it is in. It's this sad looking piece curled up at the bottom and just kind of waving every once in a while, and the gentle breeze that blows in that's cold, and it has the smells of oncoming storm and autumn with it. One little tattered piece of paper on the adventuring board.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay. It mentions the job is in Silverhaven. And it simply says to roust out squatters who don't belong. Small and green and always unclean. Clean out these small, unseemly things. And there's a crude drawing of what looks to be a goblin or something like that.
Great. Well, goblins. Well, I'll show that. I'll show the drawing to kill it. Like, look at this drawing.
Oh, that's either a very handsome goblin or a very undly orc child.
The job was commissioned by Kunder Hammerhand, Kundar, Kunder, or excuse me, Kunder, Kunder Hammerhand.
Kunder
And it says Hammerhand, and it says to seek him out in the Billow Light Forges. Billow Light Forges.
All right.
All right.
Well,
So-
I suppose a trip to Silverhaven couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll have a bit less of a glum disposition.
We can only hope.
What time is it, Cap?
I would say it's roughly like 10 in the morning.
Okay. Do we want to get started now?
That's fine by me.
I'd feel better if
Okay.
we were on the road.
Agreed.
I'll lead.
All right. Yenfir is sullen and quiet, but as you start to head out the road north, you pass by the tavern, which the door is actually thrown open on. And despite the dour setting and the feeling around you, maybe projecting a little bit, there seems to be lively music coming from the tavern at the moment. And a bit of laughter inside.
Well, at least not everyone's having a bad day.
Gillet is immediately suspicious.
Nobody's allowed to have fun. Nobody!
Do you see the mood we're in? Nobody has fun on my watch. I'm the wet
No
blanket
fun
police.
allowed.
Come here.
Callista wants to go at least peek in without
Sure.
revealing who she is.
Okay.
Because we all know how that's gonna go.
Swimmingly. Okay, you peer in the door. And you don't have to worry about anybody kind of watching you because they are all watching the spectacle in front of them. A well-dressed, olive-skinned man with dark hair and a very neatly trimmed goatee, Van Dyke style, just comes around, is standing on a table dancing with a maiden. A dance which no one has seen, but the music seems to be pouring forth from yet everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And you hear him laugh and shout, and the crowd... Give me a perception. Actually, what is your passive perception?
11.
Okay.
I miss Annalise's like 17.
Yeah, the crowd seemed to be clapping and laughing and tapping and their feet and things like that. Are any of the rest of you looking in on this?
I will.
All rubberneck.
Okay. I need your passive perceptions, please.
12.
12. Chief?
Opening up my sheet. 15.
Okay, 15. Chief, you notice that the smiles on the people's faces are like rictus grins. You don't think that they're enjoying themselves so much as they are being forced to enjoy themselves.
Ew.
Good people of Adalar. I like this place. I think that I will stay here for a bit longer. Especially you, my dear. And he twirls the girl like, spins her around in place. And you can see for a minute as tears stream from her eyes. She doesn't seem to be able to. She does not look like she is having the time of her life.
I'm going to grab Callista and Gillet and just tuck them back out of the doorway. So we're not seen. I'm going to say, I think those people are under some sort of spell or charmed. We need to help them.
I'm gonna ask a very selfish question, but do we really have to help them? I know that we're supposed to be adventurers and whatnot, but given what Lucky just unleashed, do we want to chance that this is not, or this is Ugdithar? In which case, he will just kick the ever-living shit out of us.
Well, we can always talk. We don't have to run in and start fighting.
Well, I suppose we don't have Lucky, so that is no longer our current MO.
But I would very much like to help.
Okay. You know what? I think that perhaps after that I could use a drink.
I have the strangest feeling that there's not going to be anyone to serve us.
I didn't say I was getting served. I said I could use a drink.
Fair.
All right. So you're making your way into the bar.
I guess so.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Gillet, what's your opinion? Do you want to help?
He already said that we bored him and left while the very ground underneath us was being torn apart. If we talk and he doesn't like us talking, will there be an Adalar left?
But it may not be him. Could just be a powerful sorcerer who's a total jackass. We're just assuming it's him because we did just see him.
Let's talk.
Okay.
So
if we get TPK, this is your fault, Chief.
No, it's 2 against 1. If y'all don't want to do this, I am outnumbered.
Yes,
you
but
step into the bar.
In character, you're so convincing. Like, she's
the epitome of heroics.
It's completely convincible. Like you were convincible. She believed exactly what you just told her. So
you step into the tavern.
Yeah, we step into the tavern.
The sound of the music is cut short, like the screeching of a violin and the sudden doom of a drum. And you watch as the figure on the table kind of spins the girl and doesn't necessarily throw her, but just kind of lets her go. She tumbles off and the crowd catches her. The smiles on their faces fade, and she's crying, but they're all like, oh, and you watch as they give him a wide berth. He steps down from the table, rests his hands on this rapier hilt the way he did before, the basket being this beautifully decorated thing, and he rests his... I see that you have made it out safely. That is good. It is good. It's very good. But tell me, you seem to be missing one. Oh, that's right. They sacrificed themselves for me, and to that I must say thank you. And I owe you a great debt. And he bows deeply, sweeping his hand in front of himself as he does so. He comes to his full height and he says, but tell me, what brings you here?
Don't say collecting debt. Don't say collecting debt. Don't say collecting debt.
I'm just here for a
Collecting
drink.
debt. A drink is good. He claps his hands. And as he does, you watch as the bartender, like being puppeteered, comes over with a tray setting. On it is a bottle of wine, a bottle of port, and glasses and tankards. And he sets it down. He says, thank you. Cheeses, meats, if you have them, of course. He nods his head and kind of again puppeteers and walks back out around the bar. I must say that I owe you a great debt. Your friend rescued me from the boredom that I had been suffering for millennia. Unfortunately, I don't think that I was completely forthright with him. I did not tell him all that the deal came with. He can't leave, of course. You knew that. He cannot. If he were to leave, he would unleash what it was that I was there to anchor into place. You think that I'm a bad guy. I'm merely a trickster. I merely have fun at others' expenses. He, however, the one that I held in place, he is truly, truly vicious. Do you know, it took all of their might to hold him down. You see that several of the people are kind of sneaking out. He holds his hand out without saying a word and points to the door. It closes like thaumaturgy with a G. I did not say that you could leave. Sit, drink, eat. And you watch as the servants and the barmaid and the bar wench, they start making their way around serving people. Even if they're not wanting to eat, you watch as they pick up their drink, shaky hands, and drink. Proper introductions, I believe, should be made. I am Mugdathar. That as much is true. I am no particular realm that I am over, but once upon a great time, I was known for my trickery. I fear that in my absence, being trapped in that area, I was forgotten, cast aside. That is truly, truly sad. For I was once reviled and regaled in both the same breath. Hated for what I could do and loved at the same time for beautiful things that I could do. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today, mortals?
I am what you call a half-orc called Gillet.
This one is not so smart, is he? And is that your brother? As he nods to the other half-orc.
Cousin.
Brother from another mother.
It would not be so strange within that culture, let's be honest.
I am Arnef.
It is a pleasure to meet both of your acquaintances. And the beautiful one with the horns, the red skin. The eyebrow waggle.
They call me Callista.
And you may call out my name as many times as you'd like.
Only in your wildest dreams.
I am not above taking what I want. So, as I said, though, I owe you a debt of gratitude. Your friend's sacrifice released me from my boredom. And for that, I must thank you. To think I am a trickster, but to be tricked the way that I was, I am ashamed. I would not speak of it. But it was really good. I must give them credit for what I had done. I wasn't sure that you would fall for the old king on the throne trick. I've been flexing my power for some time, but I wasn't sure how far it would stretch out. I did not foresee you releasing the mage. It would have been better to have had him than your friend, but I will take what I can get. Unfortunately, your friend is not as powerful as I, so that we'll see that he will probably be used up like a tissue in, I don't know, probably a few hundred years, maybe even 1,000, if he holds out well. But eventually, someone will have to take his place, and I am not the one to take his place again. So, where are you off to now? I am bored. Where shall we go? What adventures shall we see?
Were you... You say that your name is Ugdathar, but you are clearly not the demon that laid waste and destruction. Has your name been prescribed to another?
No. I think the name of the one that you are speaking of is Ulmatek. Ulmatek. If I am a bastard, then he is the father of all bastards, I guess you could say. I was duped into creating an anchoring point that obliterated magic in his region. An oubliette was crafted, and he was cast inside of it. To keep the powerful magic at bay, you needed powerful magic. And what better magic could you find than someone like myself? I was never a sower of destruction. Well, destroyed a few hearts, a few beds, a few ideologies, a couple of casinos. There was at one tavern. We had a good party after a concert. I remember throwing things to the wall. But most of my destruction is, of that nature.
Do you think perhaps you should let these people get back to work? As much as you enjoy their frivolity and their adoration.
And he looks around.
Allowing them to work would give you more of a return at the end of the day. It would be more amiable to celebrating and partying with you.
He looks around the room for a moment. Yeah. Most of them are boring anyways. Be gone! And you watch as they flood out of the bar. Like the owner, the barmaid, everybody just like rushes out of the bar. There's a throng at the door for a moment where they're all trying to push each other and get first out the door. They stampede like cattle.
Company is much better when they are willing.
Yes. I suppose that you are correct. But I had entire courts of worshippers. People who would fall at my feet. It was lovely, but now I don't even know who I am.
I mean, there's still technically a way to do that, but you have to join the Adventurers Guild.
What is the Adventurers Guild? I don't know what this is. Is he mad?
You-
Does he speak in tongues or something?
Oh no, it's the way we meet new people, see new and interesting things, and really travel the world.
Perhaps I will go with you for a time. Until I get bored, anyway. So, are we leaving now, then?
As soon as I have finished my glass of wine.
Ah, yes, excellent. I will wait.
She's not
What
chugging
about
it
the
back.
others?
She's kind of taking her time drinking.
The rest of you are not drinking then. Only the horned one.
No, Gillet's taking a swig of the port.
What about you, half orc? You do not drink?
I do, but in my own time.
I see. Well, he kind of claps his hands once. Your glass is empty. The bottle is empty in your hand. He says, "There, you're done. Let's go." And he stands up to leave.
All right. I guess
You
we're
are
going to
coming, aren't you?
Silverhaven.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ah! Silverhaven. Silverhaven. I do not know this place.
Have we gone to Silverhaven?
Not yet.
You've not. You know where it's at. It's north. It sits on the edge of the kingdom against the mountain line. You can see it there on the map.
Mhm.
It's probably from here, I would say about a week's travel. Kind of like if you go straight through, it would probably be about 5 days, but you have to figure out how to cross the river.
Swim.
True.
I'm joking.
But if you go up through Reed Song into Vernthal and then you head east, you can get to Silverhaven. And like I said, about 7 days total.
Which way do we want to go then? Reed Song or straight to Silverhaven?
I think the easiest way will be directly to Reed Song and then take the river up to Silverhaven.
All right.
I agree.
This should be interesting.
Excellent. Yes, I agree. This should be a lot of fun. You going to walk? You know, I could get us there a lot faster.
Yes, but
How-
that ruins the fun of the adventure.
But it makes for traveling a lot easier. I tell you what. I am new to this adventuring. I will allow you to lead the way and I will follow.
Part of the entertainment is finding out what's on the way.
At least until I get bored, as I am fond of saying. And so he's standing there, he's kind of rocking on his heels.
Oh, well.
You go?
I
Nope.
will lead. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I felt like you were a natural born leader, the quiet one. And he kind of walks along beside you as you lead, heading north toward Reed Song.
Oh, my new best friend. Yay. All right.
He talks non-stop. He tells you
Of
all
course
sorts
he does. Why would he
of
be quiet?
stories. He tells you stories and jokes and he anecdotes and all sorts of wonderful things that go along with the perfect traveling companion that never shuts up, all in that wonderful accent that he has, which I'm not going to do.
Well, luckily for
Because
him,
it does get a bit exhausting, trust me.
luckily for him, Arnath loves to listen. He quite enjoys stories. So I'm
Some of them would make your little gray skin blush. Some of the stories make Gillet feel really uncomfortable and flashing back to a very vivid dream he had not too long ago. As he finishes one of the stories, he glances back over his shoulders and kind of raises his eyebrows at Gillet. The first day passes. There is nothing you get the feeling that even if there was something, it probably was dealt with well before it got to you. Night falls. There's no rain. The skies are still kind of gray and overcast. The trees are starting to turn the autumnal colors. You start to see browns and reds and golds here and there. As you bed down for the night, he looks a bit impatient. What are you doing?
We mortals rest.
Oh, I think I've heard of this thing. I will watch then. I promise you, I will not do anything untoward towards any of you. And I will make sure that you all get your rest and that nothing harms you, even myself.
I am leery of that.
You're leery of the trickster god watching over you?
Oh,
Why?
jeez, I wonder why. Don't ask me that question. Don't ask me what's the worst that can happen.
I feel
Vivid
like
dreams.
we should still keep the normal watches. It's probably for the best.
All right,
What did
so
you
there's
guys
4 of
do?
you.
Oh, nothing.
There is a well-dressed, olive-skinned, dark-haired, new adventurer with you by the name of Ugdathar, who promises that he'll keep watch and nothing untoward will happen to any of you. He promises.
We'll do our normal watches.
Okay, normal watches it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was push to talking and nothing was happening. Hello.
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 Can I stay awake for as long as it takes for him to go away?
He's not going
He's
away.
not going away.
He's not going away.
My
He's going on an adventure with you.
Please no. What did you guys do?
At least we got him out of Adelar.
That's true.
I'm weary already and I'm not even at my computer yet.
We at least got him out of Adelar.
Yeah, and now we're going to be taking him across the countryside and seeing what else happens.
Why do things always happen when I'm not there?
You couldn't have stopped this.
Yeah. No is
No,
not an
no.
option.
Nope, because Arneth would have given you the puppy dog eyes and you'd have been toast. You'd have been done and you wouldn't have been able to say no and we would have had to go in and rescue them anyway and the exact same outcome would have happened.
That's a fair point.
Well,
That's a fair point.
this might as well happen.
Like, Jack, I love you, but
This is me
Yenfear is
now.
weak.
I guess this is who I am now.
Yeah.
Like, Jack, I love you, but Yenfear is weak. Especially when it comes to
Okay.
Arneth.
Yeah. It's true.
Who's taking first watch?
Callista will take first watch.
Okay, second.
I will.
Okay, Gillett and Chief Arneth has third.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It up, and you watch as he starts moving his hand over it, and as he does, it reshapes itself. And what forms is a small 6-stringed instrument. And he plays it, and it's beautiful sounding. I say it's small, but it's probably about yay big. Yeah, yay big. You can't see my hands, so he plays and it's beautiful. It's lovely. As a bard, you would know that this is a cittern, that he is playing. And as he starts to play, Callista, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oof.
Yes!
All right.
Your eyes are heavy, but you fight the urge to fall asleep. And as he plays, he looks over at you and gives you a wry smile, then shrugs, and then goes back to playing. But the feeling of tiredness fades, and you are not.
Stop that.
I am doing nothing but playing his own.
Do I look like an idiot to you?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
God, I hate it when people fucking answer it that way.
Why do you ask?
Because it's called a rhetorical question.
Then my retort to your rhetorical question is yes.
I like this guy.
So, you thought that you could just play me to sleep?
Well, I mean, if you're going to state the obvious, then yes.
And what did you hope to gain from that?
Nothing. I hope to give you some rest. You look like you could use it.
I will rest when I have done my duty, as per the way we work.
It's not really efficient, is it? I mean, is it really? I mean, you all have to stay up for a certain period of time, either getting full night's sleep or getting no sleep. Like me, I don't need to sleep. Why would I sleep? I would just watch over you all. I was merely trying to assist. Anyways, look at that. The time your watch is up. I think you're going to wake your friend.
Look at the time. Gestures to watch.
Not that he's
doesn't
not wearing.
exist on his wrist.
The freckle on this
Gestures
arm.
to the moon.
To the moon. Look at the time. Oh, look, the moon is behind the clouds. Look at the internal clock.
She goes over and gently wakes up Gillet and warns him that this man may try to play him to sleep.
And
I think that she is quite tired.
I love napping. What are you talking about?
this is a surprise.
No, it is not. I'm warning you because he just tried it with me.
All
Lord
right.
knows what sort of dastardly things he would do. You heard him in the bar.
I saw him in the bar too.
I'm just to make sure that you are both aware. I am right here, literally.
Yeah, you also could hear us regardless
Right
of whether
here.
or not we were whispering.
But yes, but it's an insult to me that you think that I would do anything untoward when I have promised you I would not harm you and let nothing untoward happen to you. And now you say that I would do something wrong by lulling you to sleep. I mean, yes, I would lull you to sleep. We understand that is going to happen. But I promised you that I would not do anything. And I will keep my promises.
The promise of a trickster god.
Okay, yes, I can see how that sounds now that you say it out loud.
Gillet, be careful.
Sleep well.
I'm gonna try.
You sure you don't want to? I mean, you looked rather cozy from what I recall. And he gives you both the shit-eating grin. Am I not wrong? I mean, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
She is immediately
Oh,
gonna
no.
go back to her bed and just blanket over the head and just nope.
she always
No.
was coy. Right.
Yes.
You two are interesting. All right, so I promise you, nothing is going to bother you. You can go to sleep. Nothing is going to hurt you. Shall I play? He picks up the cittern again. Any favorites that I might be able to play?
Bohemian
feel like-
Rhapsody.
I feel like half-orc lullabies would be like metal, not heavy metal, but just like metal.
Hmm.
If anybody's
Very,
seen
very
Bright, that is
percussive.
really. If you've seen the Netflix original Bright, that is literally the reference they made. One of the love songs was pretty much screamo. It's just scream metal.
Yeah, I saw
Like,
it.
oh, that's a famous love song. All right. Your watch passes without incident. He does not play. He looks bored, but he doesn't do anything.
See if we can teach him how to play checkers.
I don't think
Teach him how to
he
play
has
Go.
that.
Oh,
Teach him how to play Go, and then just watch him master it. Try to master it. All right, your watch passes with no incidents whatsoever. You awaken Arnath. He smiles at you, Gillet, and says, "Oh, she's right there. Good night. We could all do this." La 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 la. Well, maybe you like it at the end. I don't know.
Oh my god, he was the one
You're
who gave us the
asleep.
visions. No, sorry, I just made a connection. I apologize.
You're just now making that connection.
Yeah, I'm a little bit slow today. Okay.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm up.
Ah, yes, welcome. Are you going, she's...
What?
He's looking at Gillet still.
I sit down curtly near the fire and begin to try to meditate.
Right. These two, they're no fun. You look like you could be a lot of fun. I feel like I should play you a song. He takes a cittern out.
How about no? How about
And
I play your song? Yeah?
when he turns the cittern around towards you and hands it to you. This should be entertaining.
Okay. I'm going to.
I am intrigued by what song it is that you think you could play for me.
I'm going to attempt to play some song.
You're going to give me a perform check.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Performance. There you
Are you skilled with any musical instruments at all? Jesus. Are you skilled with any musical instruments at all?
My dulcimer.
Oh. Would you like to play your dulcimer instead of this? As you take the cittern from him and you try to play it like the dulcimer, and he just looks at you and goes, "What abomination are you trying to hack out? That is not how you played that at all. It is a crime. Give me back my instrument, please."
I'll give it back soon. I'll take out
And
my
he kind of
dulcimer.
cradles it for a second. He did not mean it. You apologize to this beautiful instrument for what you have done.
I will.
What do you have there? What is that thing that you are laying across your lap?
It is my dulcimer, my mountain dulcimer.
Dulcimer?
Yeah.
I do not know this thing. Play. Give me another performance check.
Well, I do have my dulcimer and tools and proficiencies. I think I can.
Okay.
click on
Yeah. Give me. It's still gonna be performance though, because you're still performing.
it. Mm,
You're just skilled at using it.
All right.
Yeah. There's the chief we know and love.
He is He's sitting there with his head in his hand, his mouth kind of, And he's, for the first time since he started out on this adventure with you, he is quiet. He doesn't say a word, and he just watches you play. I
still can't believe I crit it.
And when you are done, slipped into the accent. When you are done, he takes for a second, and you see him turn his head, and he goes, That is quite lovely. And you said it is called a dulcimer.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
May I?
Of course. And I will hand
Thank you.
him my dulcimer.
A little backstory for those of you watching. Chief had not really known what a dulcimer was, if I'm not mistaken, until I brought it up.
Yeah.
And then went on a huge dulcimer kick. Like found all these great covers done by dulcimer.
I fell in love instantly.
Because it sounds great, and the hammered dulcimer is even more beautiful than just even the dulcimer, which sounds great. My mom has hers still sitting in her dining room. Every once in a while, I'm like, I should take that up and play it again. It's beautiful. All right, yeah. He takes your dulcimer, and only having watched you, I rolled a 19 on the die, so he sits down with it, and the first note or two is a little off, and you can see he's trying to get acclimated, but he goes, I think I have these. And he starts playing out a tune, not quite as lovely as the tune that you played out, but still really good. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
What are we doing? Are we...
Okay.
What's happening? I'm
He's
sorry.
trying to put me to
With a
sleep.
22,
Oh.
you do feel tired, and your head droops for a second, and then all of a sudden you kind of shake your head and look up at him as he comes to an end, like a rest in the song, and you kind of, he can see his eyes looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not falling asleep, are you?
No.
Oh well. You cannot blame a trickster god for trying. And he hands the instrument back to you. He says, I must make sure that I get my hand on one of those. Quite a lovely thing. I guess I could just make one, but The rest of the night passes, and you awake. Breakfast has been, you make a small breakfast of basically, cram and bacon and whatever else you have, trail rations. He kind of looks at the food for a second. He goes, you do realize that I could summon a true breakfast for heroes such as yourself.
Would it be charmed in any sort of way?
That is a fair question. Glad that you asked. Now that you have asked it, no, it would not.
All right, that's fair.
It's no fun if you expect it. I can't sit there and look at you like, try the porridge. No, really, try the porridge. No, I need it. Try the porridge. And then you try the porridge, and you're like, oh, this tastes like vomit. And I'm like, it is vomit. It would not be as funny.
Just
I'll
try
stick-
my breakfast.
I'll stick with the...
Just try mine.
Why is it all green?
You'll like it, I promise.
Okay. And he takes a bit of the food that you offer him. He eats it, and he goes, I could summon better. So we are leaving then, on the road again. I'm telling you I could make this trip a lot faster. Okay, yes, I figured that would be the answer. I could summon a dragon to carry us all.
That seems like a terrible idea.
True, but imagine the faces on the individuals who saw a dragon flying at them.
That's how we get the Sky Wardens called on our asses. I don't know about you, but I really don't want that to happen.
I can assure you that I would probably be concerned if I knew what a Sky Warden was. But I do not. So I do not care.
Should we tell him?
No, let him find out on his own.
Or guess.
Guess.
It is a Warden of the Sky.
Go
How do they do?
on. I suppose
No.
incomplete guesses could count.
You get points.
He starts to march away from the group, like in the direction that you're heading, if you're heading toward Reedsong.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember what I said about being bored? I'm not sure if that's Maddie being so done with this guy, or if that's Callista being so done with this guy.
Considering the fact that she has made the same connection that I made while I was asleep, no, she is done.
All right. We're
I
going.
think
However-
he's hilarious.
However, she's going to
You would.
walk next to Yinfir and apologize for believing that he would even think to say something along the lines of that he thought that she was disgusting and less than they were. She apologizes for believing that which was not true. But
I mean,
given the fact that that is exactly the reaction that she's gotten from everybody else before this party,
I don't take it personally. I mean, I am pretty. No, I'm just. But today I'm pretty amazing. But
wow,
Don't know if you know
you're
this
so
about me, but-
humble.
I'm
You're
amazing.
so
and I'm such a
humble.
nice person, but I don't
So-
blame you for your shortcomings, so it's okay. No,
So first,
you would never say that.
Wow, why
Um,
do I feel worse having apologized?
I feel even worse. Let me just gather my brains for a second. It's been a long day.
No, not allowed. I'm gonna need you to be completely focused, like
Oh,
right
fuck.
now.
Okay.
No, Jack, you know
It's
I'm
cool,
teasing.
dog. That's all. It's cool, dog. And then I keep going.
he's kind of walking, meandering, speeding up, slowing down, just kind of walking in amongst you all. He's not really this day. He's not really saying anything. Like the first day, he was just nonstop. Today, he's much quieter.
Well, I'm going to ask him questions about his child.
About his what? His job?
Childhood.
Childhood.
Childhood?
Okay,
Yes.
that is absolutely not what I heard.
What did you hear?
Nothing
I
I'm gonna
heard-
say on stream.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember
What are
that
you
while we
talking
try to
about?
cater to all ages, this is sometimes slips into the adult realm. Viewer discretion is strongly
Y'all
advised.
are nasty.
'Cause
I'm sure
y'all
y'all are
nasty. You need Jesus, is what it is.
Listen,
Definitely
we'll
gonna
go
need
to
the
the
car.
church when we get there.
You ask him about his childhood. What questions would you like to ask specifically? So, what was it like growing up as a trickster god? You know, it's quite interesting. I don't remember. No, what questions do you want to ask him, seriously?
If he had a family, if he had any pets, if he knew what he was when he was born? I don't know. Just
I
random
love
stuff.
I stan Arna.
I'm sure that they had a family at one time, but I do not know them now. Did they have pets? I'm sure that they may have had a pet at one time. I do not recall. Did I know what I was? No, I was not born into this. Was was more of an ascendancy or descendancy. I don't know. It depends on which side of the cliff you are stepping on. But to say the least, that this was not my first choice, but more along the lines of I was something else and then I was this. And this is all I have known for time untold.
So
You
you're saying there's a
have to
chance
witness-
that Lucky could have this happen to him as well.
Oh
no,
no.
God. That is the last thing he needs.
Sounds a bit lonely.
Understand that you are mortals. Your life is not even a blip in the time that I have been alive. It's more like a blip. It's not even the full word. You are insignificant that you think that I travel with you, and to you it is days. To me, it is nothing. I merely
Why are
want
you
to
so
expedite your...
impatient?
I'm not impatient. I have millennia. I fear that your lives, though, are so short and so minuscule that if you were not to get around by some means other than walking here and there, that you might die before you ever get to where it is you are going. I could whisk you there faster. It would save you time. Think of all the time that you could save if I were to whisk you everywhere that you wanted to go.
Sure, bud. It's okay to
I mean,
just enjoy traveling. And
this is
spending
true,
time
but imagine
together.
the power that somebody like me could offer. Someone like you. If you could take and use the powers that I have, what would you do with them?
I certainly wouldn't force people in a bar to dance with you.
You say that now. But do you think that was always this way?
Probably not.
There is the idea that if you were given an unlimited supply of something, you eventually would use it, would you not? And what toll would that have? Imagine if you had wealth equal to all of the wealth in the world. What would you do with it once your good deeds had been done? The wealth is still there. And after all, you are mortal. And at some point in time, the tab of goodness is paid off. And you start to become bored. You start to become listless. Imagine if your life lasted for as long as you could will it to. You had no care for disease. You had no worries about anything like that. What would you do after a while? You've seen everybody that you have ever loved pass before your eyes. You get jaded against it. You start to feel as though, what is the point of it all? And eventually, you have to find a way to fill the infinite amount of time that you have on your hands. And so, you start to entertain yourself. But your sort of entertainment is not necessarily fun for all. But do you care? Their lives are finite. Yours is infinite.
It sounds like you could use a hug.
No.
Really big hug, yeah.
I'm
Not
okay.
everything is
Are you
solved by
going
hugs.
to give him a hug?
Are you gonna come on? Bring it in. Bring it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, and this is how
He's doing
Ardath
that
gets
whole-
stabbed.
He's doing that whole thing where he's like, why is this one touching me? Tell it to stop.
I was just friendly.
That-
Relax.
And he's got his like hand in your face, like get away, get off of me.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
You just
Look at
hug
him,
him
he's
anyway.
touching
I
Arms.
can just like imagine Ardath's face, like their cheeks are just like smushed together.
As you like, get this one off of me, please. I'm not comfortable with this. There's a kind of a
Oh,
crackle in the air around you.
You mean you're not comfortable with somebody doing something to you that you didn't ask them to do?
There's a crackle
Oh,
Snatch your wings.
in the air, and you are hugging this creature, and all of a sudden it is like nothing but a roiling mass of snakes that slip through your hands. And as they
literally
drop to the
Loki.
ground, they not. I was trying to avoid that to the degree.
Oh, Nate! I love
I'm trying to be that on point.
Yeah, but you
Right.
chose the wrong animal for that one.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to think. He turns into like 7,500 rats.
I mean,
And
yeah,
they
that would
just
work
fall
too.
to the ground. All right, he turns into a bunch of rats, and they all fall, and you find yourself like they're slipping through your hands, and he's like standing. No, it's just one moose. He's standing over by where Callista is, looking back at Arneth with his.
You'll get used to him.
So perhaps maybe now that you know what it feels like, you won't do it to others. Which includes giving people visions of shit that doesn't actually happen.
But let us be honest with one another. You and me, one to the other.
I feel like she
God
was referring
damn
to
it,
someone
Steve.
there.
He enjoyed it, didn't he?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Is it still just the two of you that know about that?
What are we talking about?
She has no idea what happened in his dream. She
And
just
she
knows
won't.
she just knows what
yeah.
happened in hers.
Okay. I arrived at the rest of the party in my brain. Okay, carry on.
He enjoyed it. Trust me. You enjoyed it, didn't you? Just nod your head.
Callista's
Like
just
this.
gonna kind of look
What is
over
he
at
talking
Gillet.
about?
What is he talking
Up and
about?
down. Would you
I
like
think
me
he
to
has the
tell
wrong
them? I
orc.
could describe it in detail what it was that I implanted in your head.
Well,
It was
now
a
I'm
lot of fun
curious.
on my part.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
I am also curious in character
I almost
what the
wanted
hell
to-
is going on.
I wanted to pause it and go get a snack and then come back and start it again because I didn't want to miss a minute. But let me tell you, that was some prime stuff. And to
What-
think I was only a spark of creativity that started that. The rest of it was all filled by your imagination. So what does that say about you, green-skinned one?
Gillet? What is he talking about?
Ah, look, he blushes.
My God, he's a filthy pervert, isn't he?
You have no idea.
And of course, I'm just going to be glaring at Ianfear for a while. And stepping slowly away from the entire.
Mm.
Do I even want to know?
I think the rest of the party wants to know, and Gillet's just, no.
I could fill them in for you if you would like.
No thanks.
Okay. I was just being helpful. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, I'm going to continue walking. Now that I've given my free hug for the day away.
Oh, the rest of us have to
Many
pay for
hugs.
those hugs.
I'm kidding. Many hugs. They're all free.
Well, as you guys are traveling on, you can see ahead of you a bit. The road broadens into the thickness of the trees that set up the outside edges of Reedsong. Again, the beautiful homes that are made into and out of the trees at the same time. You see the beautiful boughs that make up the roofs and things like that. It's absolutely gorgeous. You start to walk into the town, and he has his finger kind of like noticing the kamat that are here and there. He goes, I see. Cedret and Tegris were busy, it appears. Good on them. Their people deserve a haven, if you will. Huh. Anyways, and he kind of gets interested in some of them as he's walking. He's not really doing anything. He's just observing. Like I said, he's been very quiet this day.
Well, Gillet's going to take the initiative and show him some cinnamon sugar bread.
Oh, hell yeah.
At the baker's
Yes.
in Reedstone.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He is he is quite intrigued by this treat that you have given him. He likes it quite a lot. To the point where after you've left the bakery, you notice him going, and like there's like a small amount of it there. And he's like, "This is quite good." From behind you, you hear the baker go, "As you sell an extra loaf, we're missing a loaf." To which he leans forward and looks at you, Gillet, and looks you in the eye. He goes, "Do not tell them. I took the loaf." And he starts to walk away.
Such
Can't
a
you just
rude-
conjure food? Why need to steal?
Probably because it's funnier.
conjure food. I did conjure food. I conjured it into my hand from over there.
That's not what I meant.
No,
You know what? Enjoy
I
your bread.
understand.
It's okay. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I decided I don't care anymore.
Are you sure that you do not care? What if
Mhm.
I were to give you an infinite amount of power?
We're
What would
not
you do?
having this conversation again.
Infinite.
Oh, but I would like to have the conversation with this one.
Ian Fair becomes Loki.
You just see me sitting on a throne, laughing maniacally.
Watching a play where you're being played by an actor.
Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
build a statue.
That is
It'll be a
actually
glorious
him.
statue
Like
to you, brother.
a piece of shit. He would totally do that.
You know, the thing about the hammer is that it goes through anything to return to my hand,
Except
including
it's
your
just,
head.
except it's just plays of him like killing Gafton in like really extravagant and amazing ways.
Even though it wasn't him who killed Gafton.
Yeah, nobody
Again,
needs to
whatever.
know that. I'm the ruler now. Emperor Yennefer.
It's all gone to your head. All right.
Infinite power?
Of course. Imagine what you could do if you had the power that I have. What kind of person would you be?
I'm going to decline.
Being familiar with Reedsong since you had passed through here before, you see several of the women dressed in the cloistered outfits that they wear, walking through, and you watch as one particular Kamat, short, kind of rounder frame, gray, long gray fur that sticks out. Her tail is this big Persian style, long, big fluffy tail. And as she's walking by, she stops. She looks around for a second. She looks at the party. She doesn't say anything. And you watch as Ugdithar gets real close to her. Like right here in her face. She cannot see me. This is great. He turns around and then he stops for a second. He goes, and you hear a. You watch as the Kamat stands there and goes, "Oh, huh, oh," and then turns around and quickly catches up to her group. And he just laughs and goes, "I like these tiny people. They are quite entertaining. Perhaps I will stay here. You go on ahead. I will catch up."
I have something to show you, and he takes him to the cobbler.
I feel like we're children.
Are we going going back to the cobbler that you fucking broke the very episodes ago. Oh my fucking god.
You cross the river. They can see you, but you're starting to realize, as he's starting to mess with people as he walks along, that nobody sees him. There's a woodworker carrying his box full of tools. You can see the carpenter's hammer hanging out of the back of it. He walks over and takes his finger and flips the hammer. As the man goes to bend down and pick it up, he takes and shifts his weight, not shoves him over, but shifts the man's weight to where he stumbles head first into somebody else, and then it just makes this whole group of people kind of trip and fall, and he just kind of stands up and goes, that's good. I feel so good to be back in a group of people. And so he's walking along with you, and sure enough, you guys get to the cobbler. You walk in. I take it, Gillett, you walk in.
Oh, I'm just going to be standing outside. I just... Well... Peek in.
He peeks in. And then he leans back. It is a shoemaker's hovel. What am I supposed to be seeing here?
Then I walk in.
Welcome to my shop. It's you again. I take it you still no shoes.
No. I was wondering,
Did you come to purchase a pair of shoes?
do you have any sandals?
I'm sorry, did you say sandals?
Yes.
Oh, well, not technically a shoe. They are a lot closer than your bare feet that you're walking around in. So, yes, as it appears, as I do have some sandals that I can throw together for you. Yes. Would you like a long wrapping one that goes up your leg, or would you care for something that's more of a slip-on?
Oh, that all sounds like far too much work.
You want the sexy strappy type or the Birkenstock?
Do you want the sexy strappy kind, or do you want the I got these at the Walmart for $30? They come with a little thing on top, and they have your favorite Corona or Bud Light or Miller Lite or whatever.
I have a bunch of bottle caps underneath the sandal.
Yeah. You walk and they go click, 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 click. No, so basically he's asking you what kind of sandal do you want? And Ugdathar has this look on his face of just utter confusion.
Something that goes up my leg, I think, would be good.
Oh, well, you do have rather shapely legs, indeed. Yes.
And he walks over, and remember, he's a gnome, so he's tiny. And he walks over with this stool, and he shoves it up under.
Please, place your foot on the stool.
Step up.
And he goes and he gathers up a tape, and he takes a measurement, the width at the widest part, the heel, the length of the foot, making note of which toe sticks out further, whether the middle toe or if it's the bigger toe that sticks out further. Takes careful measure of your foot, and then brings forth 3 different pairs. One is a strap across the toe and a strap around the heel, and then it has a leather thong that wraps up the leg, and you tie it, basically like a Roman style.
Hot.
He brings you a straight, it basically is a flip-flop. It's a sandal. It's got a thong that you can slip your toes between and hold on to it. The last one he brings you is more almost like a traditional, Japanese style. It's got the wooden piece on there, and then the wooden shoe and it's using hemp to brace the shoe itself as well as present the thong, and it wraps around and ties around the ankle.
I start to put them on, and I lean over a little bit, trying to look Ugdithar right in the eye and say, "Can you maybe make these a good amount smaller?" I say under my breath.
Ugdithar looks at you for a second. He goes, "Are we talking like a child shoe?"
Let's just say half the size for now.
Child's work. Kind of twists his fingers, and the shoe suddenly starts to shrink on your foot. It's a little painful, but
I yell out, it's too tight. What are you trying to do to me?"
I measured precisely. The shoe would fit. See, I measured the length. I measured the width, the widest point, and across the arch and the heel. Everything should fit. What do you mean? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
And he starts to grab the sandals from you, and you look at Ugdithar, and he's got this kind of a... Okay.
You're gonna give this poor fucking
And the gnome
cobbler PTSD.
Comes back carrying only 2 sets of sandals now, more of the regular flip-flop style, and then the other one with the Roman tie.
I'm so sorry. These should fit you better.
And he slips them on. You can tell that the other shoe, the other one to those 2, and he slips them. He starts to slip the flip-flop on your foot, and it fits.
Bigger this time.
And you watch as like Ronald McDonald, like clown shoe flip flop.
Kingdom Hearts 3 confirmed.
I swear that it was. I put it on your foot. It was the right size. Are your feet shrinking? Maybe the shoes are getting too large. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Listen, if I'm not really worth your time, I think I'll just stick with my normal mode of transportation. Start walking out.
Oh my God! You did an entire thing to fucking lead up to that.
Where are you going? Come back! You have the shoes! Oh, no!
There is a grown gnome crying his eyeballs. The sound of a slamming door. There's the sound of a slamming door, and you watch as the open sign gets flipped over to closed. And just from inside, you hear the sound.
Are you happy, Gillen?
Ugdithar stops.
Are you happy you made a grown man cry?
Ugdithar stops and looks at you and he goes, "That was just cruel. I like it. It was good. Did you hear the way that he was blubbering? That was entertaining. Let me tell you."
I look at the rest of the party.
Do somebody
I
else.
had to let off some steam.
I know we don't have Lucky anymore, but that might have been a little excessive.
You know, if you want to let off steam, I'm pretty sure that that one over there would entertain some ideas with you.
What?
I doubt that.
And he points like straight at Callista. He kind of leans over like toward Yenfear, not touching you, but getting close. He goes, "Tell me you don't ship it."
Yenfear's reaction should be, "What is shipping?
Ship like a
Like a boat?"
I don't have the time to, and this is coming from me. I don't have the time to explain it. Anyways, look, are we going to stay here for the evening? Because if so, I could find something to do with my time.
Well, we need to procure transportation up the river. So,
Would you like me to create a boat for you? And how big of a boat would you like?
I mean, if you can, why not?
Of course I can.
But you have to promise not to drown us. Or
Yeah,
make the boat suddenly disappear.
or do anything that could endanger our lives and or annoy us.
I promise that I will not do anything to hurt you, to harm you. I can't promise not to annoy you, please. I can also say that, well, this is what I can promise you, is that not to harm will come you, I promise. No harm. You will be safe. It will be a seaworthy vessel. Or at least a river-worthy vessel.
That was my next question.
So, what say you? Boat?
Well, I'm open to it.
I mean, sure.
All right.
Excellent. And he kind of waves his hands, spreading them wide. And as he does, there on the river, not far from where you're standing, because I assume you're at the riverside, a boat appears. A riverboat. Not small, not huge, but big enough to hold you all comfortably and a crew of at least 4 more.
Okay.
On the side of the boat is written,
Lost your camera, Cap.
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost his
Did
audio
I?
too.
oh no, my audio's still here.
Okay.
Is
'Cause
my
you're,
audio
like,
still here?
Written across. You're like written across, and then nothing, and the cam goes, and I'm like, what?
Let me reconnect here. Hey.
Hey.
Finger guns. Written across the side of the boat is the this is what I said. I had something for that and I forgot to look it up.
Is it Callista and Gillet's ship name?
No.
Kalilit.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking Galista.
Galista is
Galista.
so much
Galista.
better.
Galista.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like the way that
no, it's
everyone
not written
sounds
across the side of the
personally.
boat. Galista is not written across the side of the boat. I promise you. No, written across the side of the boat is the Pale Traveler. Pale Traveler is written across the side of the boat.
Okay.
So, he kind of moves his hand, and the gangplank kind of comes down across the side, allowing you to get onto the boat. I have procured for you a vessel.
I thought you said you were going to make one for us.
I have procured for you a vessel.
Hmm.
I have manifested a boat where there wasn't one more. Are you amazed? Well, there wasn't one before. Are you amazed?
I'm
A
impressed.
boat out of nowhere. Ta-da!
Where did you steal it from?
What makes you think I stole it from somewhere?
You stole the bread. Why wouldn't you steal a ship?
You wouldn't download a house.
Oh my god.
Bitch, if I could.
Oh my god.
Those commercials were awful.
Bitch, if I could.
Would download a pizza.
Bitch, if I could.
Oh, you bet.
3D printed food.
Edible
All right.
filament.
I'm gonna
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna board it. Or attempt to board it.
You board the vessel. There is a small cabin at the front or at the stern of the ship where you can see that the helm is just above it. As you board the vessel, it kind of rocks easily. You watch as the door of the cabin flies open, and a large Kamat, who is of the Sphinx family. So he's this hairless thing with no shirt tattoos on the wrinkly skin, pulling breeches up, and like a sash tied around his neck. He's pulling his breeches, like holding them together. What's this? Where are we? What is this? Who are you? Why are you on my boat?
He
And
stole
about
the
that
fucking
time-
boat.
Ugdathar walks on the boat and goes, "Look, I even procured you a captain."
It's not
Yennefer?
making it.
He
if you
stole the boat.
steal it.
Please, come aboard. The captain doesn't mind. You don't mind, do you? The captain looks at him for a second and goes, I don't mind. Welcome aboard the Pale Traveler.
Does it not bother anybody else that he stole the fucking boat?
Oh, it bothers me quite a bit. Put it
I
out
get you a
later.
boat. And it's, I complain.
We'll pay this poor man for his time, and then we'll just move on. And never agree to let him do anything ever again. Ever.
Somehow, I don't think that's gonna work.
Captain, let me ask you a question. Before I summoned you here, did you have any work? Were you procuring anything? What were you doing in the hold? No, I tell you what, don't answer that one. But you had nothing else going on, correct? As a matter of fact, I did not have anything going on at the time, but can someone answer me as to where I am at currently?
You're at Reed Song, Captain.
Oh, I have no idea what the Reed Song is. I am sorry. Someone tell me.
Oh,
I am so confused.
okay.
Wait, I have a better
boy.
question.
This is
Where are the
awful.
trees?
Where are you from?
I'm from. Oh, I am so far from home, aren't I? Ugdatar goes, you are a very long way from home. Yes, you are. This is aces. I like this. Let's get on the trip. Come, let's go.
When we get to Silverhaven, you are going to send him back, right?
Of course, yes. You have no more need for the boat. I will send him back to where I found him.
Captain, if you wouldn't mind taking us northeast up the river.
He rubs his wrinkly head, and again, the Sphinx, the hairless cat. This is what you're looking at. The pointed ears are kind of like one's drooping down, the other one's kind of pointing off in a direction that's like that way somewhere. And he's just like, okay, yeah, yes, okay, we'll go, okay. And he watches. He starts to make about like lowering the sail, setting up about getting the boat down or up the river, as the case should be.
This is awful.
The trip cuts the time down. The captain is a nice enough fellow. And you come to learn his name. And let me go ahead and spell this out for you. No, that is not it.
To be honest, it's your NPC. You could have told us whatever and we would have believed you.
Nope, I'm telling you what it is. Eero Gildenhen. The boat was the last thing that the last bit of fortune that his family had. They were once wealthy river merchants, moving spice and other thing up and down the river. His family fell on hard time, and his predecessor had some gambling debt, and the only thing left is this boat. And this is his pride and joy. He lives on the thing. He's a nice enough fellow. And the 2-day travel that it takes you to get up to Silverhaven, you know, he seems like he's an earnest fellow. He still doesn't understand what the hell happened. but you pull up to the area of Silverhaven. The docks of Silverhaven sit on a cliff edge. You are at the base of the cliff. A wall of stone, most of it is naturally formed, and here and there you can see where there have been bricks laid. Long staircases climb up to even higher walls that surround the city of Silverhaven. The mountains that it's nestled into, forming a natural defense on the east. The walls around the city, which climb at times 30 to 40 feet in the air, surrounding it, form another another blockade around from attack on the west and north and south sides. The city has clouds of smoke that billow out from the forges, and there is a large hubbub and a hustle and bustle of people. Here and there you see guards dressed in the livery of Silverhaven. They are not part of Asteria. It's a kingdom in and of itself. The guards are a mix of dwarf, human, Kamat, mostly dwarven, but still there are human and Kamat in there. As you dismount the boat at one of the wharfs, Ugdathar turns back and looks at the boat and says, I appreciate your assisting us down the river. I will take care of covering your costs. And he produces a large gem, like it's a ruby, like that big. As big as my head. See how big my head is? This gigantic ruby. And he hands it to the captain. The captain looks at it, his eyes wide, his little wrinkled skin. He peels back in a huge smile, showing this toothy grin.
Oh, this is quite unexpected. Thank you.
And he starts to bow and scrape, and Ugdathar waves his hand, and just like that, he just kind of drifts into mist. And where the boat was once sitting is nothing but the placid river.
Arnaf is having horrible flashback cast. Looking at the walls.
What's that?
You cut
PTSD of the walls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, as he walks by, he pats you on the back like one time. Don't worry. You will not jump. And he starts striding up the staircase. The staircase climbs. So imagine this is just a sheer face of cliff and wall. And this staircase just kind of climbs up, switches back, and climbs up even further. You see a large set of double heavy wooden doors that sit there. The door spans at the widest point 20 feet across, and it's currently closed. There's a guard standing on either side of the door, and you can see they've got spears in their hands. They look down at you all as you come up. State your business here at Silverhaven.
We're part of the Adventurers Guild, looking to complete an assignment.
Hey, what assignment would that be?
I'd read them the paper that we ended up getting from the guild, well, the guild table, I suppose.
Just a wall.
Yeah.
All right.
Tunder, Hammer Hand,
Ah,
Water Goblin.
there's a bark of laugh from the two guards, both dwarven. Looks like old Mad Hammerhand's got himself some wee babs to help clear out the problem. All right, climb the stairs then. We'll make sure you find entry.
I'm also like half clinging to Yinfir.
You
For
just kind of
comfort.
stumble your way up the staircase.
Are you okay?
No.
Well, you were at the
Okay.
top of the stairs there, and you watch as one of them steps back, and he kind of shouts up above him, up above, like at the wall. We've got 4 for entry. Open the door. Oi! And there's a sound of like chain grinding in a loop. And you hear the doors kind of opening inward. Inside is a bustling metropolis. Buildings are stacked on top of each other as though they left no room to expand out without choking out every alleyway, so they started moving up. And it's a haphazard collection of buildings. It'll start with one color stone and then be plaster for the last 2 floors. Or it will be one color of stone here, the other half of the building is another color of stone, and then another thing on top of there. And it is just like I said, it looks like a jumble of buildings. It makes no sense. It's a cacophony of buildings. It is an architectural nightmare, but everything stands solidly. The alleyways here are not wide. Some of them are wide enough to get a cart through, but most of them are choked closed. The buildings looking like they're going to crumble in on top of the alleyway. And there is no rhyme or reason to the streets. Whereas before at Lanceport, when you were there, the streets made reason. They all had a way to go. There was kind of a grid or a layout for most of it. This seems to be built just by sheer chance. There's nobody building at this spot. I'm going to build here. And damn to anybody who tries to stop me. And it is just a wild mass of buildings. And it is crammed. Buildings are built into the walls that you saw climbing up. They are built opposite of those with a narrow walkway between them. The whole thing would be like an Assassin's Creed dream come true because you can just jump from rooftop to rooftop. It's like the parkour artist and all of you just immediately goes. It is
me staring at Callista's 0 acrobatics roll.
You can stay on the ground. Arneth, on the other hand, look at me. Here and there, you do see what appear to be street signs pointing to different places. One of them points to the Foundry and Forges, and it's just literally written in scrawl and common and a couple of other languages below it. Foundry and Forges. And it seems to be pointing down one wider street in like a north by northeasterly direction.
All right. Where?
All right. As you head in that direction, you clear some of the houses, and they've gotten shorter, but you realize that you can see a bit more behind them. And the mountain range from the Horseshoe Mountains actually comes into view, and you can see how imposingly close this is. This isn't you walking through the hills up into the mountains. This is you at the foot of a mountain, and the city is built into it. It looks like somebody cracked it open and spilled the city out of it. As you make your way, you can see, or you feel the warmth in the air as you get closer to the Foundry and Forges area. As you walk, you start to smell the oils that they use for the weapons, and you start to smell the sulfur and the smelting. You smell there's the acidic in the air that they use for the etching. There's some caustic or base smells that they use for some of the folding in the metals and things like that. It is not unpleasant, but it is jarring compared to Reed's song, which smells of forest, cedar and elder and ash and things like that. This is a very jarring smell. As you get closer, it starts to become a bit more cloistering, and it starts to now take on a very oppressive smell. And on top of the smell is the ever-ringing sound of hammered metal, billowing flames, that roar of fire that rolls up.
I'm not happy here.
Clang, clang, clang,
Me
clang.
neither. It's too loud and smelly.
Callista
The
feels right at
shouts
home.
the shouts of men over one another, dwarven voices, humans ringing out shouts of hey, Foster! And every once in a while, you nearly lost your hand there. As you're watching, you can see some of the foundries are separated out into different buildings, and the forges. You hear not pneumatic, but almost like that, like piston driven, and you can watch as a dwarf works a giant crank on a huge wheel, which drives this piston up and down, smacking into this metal. This is a testament to industry. They're sitting amongst it all. As you start to look around, I need for pretty much everyone to start. Give me a perception check. Okay. Patatan.
What's up, Tom?
Okay. Patatan.
Hey, I got
Almost
double digits.
always click perform.
13, 12, 12, 12. Sure, it takes you a bit of time, a few minutes, but you finally find amongst these large buildings which have huge smelting fires and forges, foundries that are built into these gigantic stone buildings, you find a small, little, like, independent mom and pop version of one. It's a squat stone building, circular. The whole entire thing is probably 60 feet, a 60-foot diameter. I mean, it's not small, but it's not huge either compared to the rest of them. A two-story thing, and you see a large outdoor fireplace used for smelting and melting down, and then you watch as this rumpled-looking dwarf, for the better way of saying it, a leather apron which has got plenty of smooth spots worn in it. You see he's got just a thin strip of hair right in the middle of his head. His beard is long and gray and singed in places and blackened with soot here and there. It was probably tucked into his belt at one time, but now it's been singed and burned up so much that he can just kind of keep it here. It's bound with two iron bands that keep it kind of together in this large clump of hair. As you get closer, he turns as though he kind of sensed your arrival. You see one eye is milky white with a cataract or some other damage, but the other one shines at you this green color, like the most brilliant emerald you've ever seen. And he just kind of stops and looks at you. And you watch as what you thought was a hammer resting on the anvil comes across, and his left hand ends in a stump, which is attached to a gigantic hammer with a pickaxe on the other end. He pounds the hammer once in his open right hand. And I help you.
I see where he got the last name from.
You took out a contract with the Adventurers Guild?
Aye. But I might have done. Aye.
Well, we're here to get more information and be able to fulfill your contract.
What's saying you fulfill the contract for me then? Trying to help kill the goblins?
Yes.
Take care of little green bastards then.
What did he just say? I don't understand anything.
It's okay, I do. Yes.
Yes, sir.
We will handle the goblins. You just need to direct us to where we need to go.
Ooh, I know I'm around to show you where they are.
Thank you.
Take you right to them, I will. Try to top a few of them down myself, but I'm only so good for so long. I tire easily these days. Not the man I used to be, not the dwarf I used to be. That many hurts all the time. Especially when the weather turn bad. When the weather turn bad, knee hurts first. I just love the look on all of my players' faces right now.
I hear they're
Can I
getting
tell you
some
how excited I am
medication
to
for that now.
introduce this character?
I can
Speak a little
understand-
slower and louder.
I can understand most of it, like 90%.
Yep.
That one daft. He says, speak a little louder and a little louder. Oh, I can speak very louder. You still don't understand what I'm saying.
No, that didn't help at all.
No,
Anyway.
Hurry with me.
Yenfir, it's okay. I promise. We're just gonna follow him, and he's gonna show us where we need to go.
Okay.
He points to Yenfir. Hammond's too pretty to go below.
Okay,
Find
I've
yourself
never said
gutted
a
by a
fucking
goblin.
word of that one.
He's killed goblins
Oh.
before.
He's young. He's
I-
pretty.
Lots of
We've
things
collected a few
before.
ears, yeah.
Lots of ears.
Lots of ears, you say.
Mm-hmm.
You got any ears on you then?
No, we
No,
turned
they
that in as part of the assignment.
Look out. You're going to get attacked. Attack cat. Kittus interruptus.
Just take from me. Oh, it's at 1%. Good luck. He took my phone. Bye.
All right. I'll show you where you're going. Keep in mind, they're crafty. Dodging around, darting about. You find them, right?
Uh-huh.
We'll take care of
Let's
them.
go.
Totally.
And he kind of hitches with his right hand. He hitches up one side of his pants and reaches over and hitches up the other side. Turns and kind of hooks his own hammer and arm over his shoulder. This way. And he leads you through the building, which... how tall is Arneth and Gillett? How tall are you guys?
6'4" and
let's see.
6'5".
Yeah, 6'5".
6'4" and 6'5"? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to duck as you go into the building. I think the rest of you are under 6 feet tall, if I'm not mistaken. I know
Just-
Callista is. I don't know. Yenfir is like, what, 5...
I'm like 5'11".
Okay. You feel like you have to duck. It's not really necessary, but it's one of those things where you like, this feels really short. Arneth and Gillett, you get to the door and you're like, shit.
Well,
You watch as Ugdathar is following behind you. He's looking about. He kind of has this like faraway look in his eyes. And you watch as you swear he was taller. Maybe not.
You know what? At this point, nothing he does surprises her anymore.
honestly, same. I'm just like, oh,
But
he
he
can
just-
manipulate his height. Cool.
Oh, he can manipulate
walks in.
everything? Why am I not fucking surprised?
He just kind of quietly walks in around beside you. Again, he's very quiet today. He doesn't have a whole lot to say.
He's reloading.
Reloaded.
He's reinstalling asshole. So he takes
Windows startup noise.
Dun. He leads you through the building, and you can see that the downstairs, the lower floor of this is packed earth and a bit of stone. You can see all sorts of implements for blacksmithing and making armor, making weapons, making rudimentary items like pots and pans and things like that. He takes you out the back side, and he leads you down a path that kind of dips down behind the building a bit and then starts to rise, and you can see that it leads actually into a portion of the mountain. There is not a lot of activity here. Like, there's not a lot of foot traffic that you can see. So it looks like the only person that ever comes through here is this crazy old coot.
All right.
Do you not have
Um,
any apprentices?
Used to have one or two. Went off on their own now. Ain't got no much use for one. Doesn't call for much making things these days. My hand gets tired. My knees hurt. Told you about my knees in the weather, right?
Yes.
Right. So, I'm sort of what you call retired.
Ah,
Okay.
I keep myself busy here and there.
Still working your way at the forge.
I'm dwarf. Got dwarf blood. Gonna make some of the forge.
Of course.
Of course. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
All right. Hey. No time for chatter about it. No time for idle chatter. Let's get at her. And he starts to make his way up the path. Yes, I did say no time for idle chatter. Let's get at her. Before you hold that
okay.
finger up and start
I was
looking at
just I was like, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn second.
me. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. All right. So.
Okay, Dad.
Okay. He makes his way down the path and then back up again, and you watch as he's kind of limp, like just a little bitty tiny hitch in his step. You can see. He's definitely not spry, and he's definitely not young. As dwarves go, he's pretty damned old. He leads you to the cave entrance, and it's a simple entrance. Outside of it is a wooden sign, and it says Hammerhand Ore written on the sign in common, scrawled in there as though whoever wrote this isn't illiterate, but is definitely not aces in the writing business. So it's like enough to where you get the idea. He kind of beams at the hole in the side of the mountain as he kind of looks at it. My own place. Got it from my father. Would pass it down to my son, but son's dead. I know where to pass it down to. Unless you like it.
It's
And take up.
infested with goblins.
Oh, maybe infested's a bit of a strong word. More like there's a wee bit of a problem in there. You
So
follow?
infested.
Okay.
And no, as much as I love the smell of working forges and whatnot, I have no interest in taking this over.
You're
Unless my
not
cup of
casting
tea.
disguise self or anything, right?
She just has the. I don't have disguise self. I had a hat.
You did have a hat, and somebody ruined your hat. He kind of stops for a second as though he's seen you for the first time, and he looks at you and goes, "You ain't any other demons?
What?
Are you one of them there demons? Aren't you a demon?"
No.
No.
Huh. You got horns like one. Horns in your head and your tail. You sure you're not a demon?
I am absolutely positive I'm not a demon.
It's just a really bad skin condition.
Is it rude to question a lady's appearance?
Where I'm from, body modification is absolutely acceptable.
You gonna clear out the goblins?
Yes.
Oh, give a flying fuck what you are. Go clean out the goblins.
Well, in that case,
I was
she's
just asking
gonna.
if you're a demon.
She's gonna take. She's got the hood. Like she had her hood on and everything. Like everything was just. It was all
Oh, okay.
covered.
Mhm.
But her skin is still pink. Like
Yeah.
you can't hide the fact that her skin
Can't
is
hide
fucking
that
pink.
that color pink. Yeah.
It's a really bad rash.
She just takes the hood off.
Oh. All right. Good luck. And he points towards the entranceway, which is, again, anybody over 6 foot tall is probably going to have to stoop a bit to get in there.
We all have dark vision, right?
Looking at you two. Yeah, this entire party has dark vision.
All right.
Unlike other parties that I run in campaigns and games, this entire party has dark vision.
Didn't used to have. An
Who's
entire
going
party,
in?
but-
first?
I will.
Okay. You stoop and you walk in, and you don't have to stoop for very long. The entrance is short, but as you get in, it rises up, and you can see that it's been chiseled to a point. Here and there along this straight chute, you see scaffolding. Old scaffolding. You wouldn't want to try it, but it's definitely scaffolding from a long ago era. And you can see that it's lines the walls at higher points where they climbed up. You see a bucket here and there. Most of the buckets are empty. A few of them have what appear to be like coal or some other carbon form in there. As you're walking through, you kind of see this. The tunnel runs straight ahead for about, I would say about 30 feet before opening up into a big circular chamber.
Okay. And it's completely dark, right?
It is completely dark. There is no light. So everybody who has dark vision, it is dim. Means you have disadvantage on perception checks that require your ahas.
The eyes. Okay.
Well,
Su
I mean,
ojos.
to combat that, she's going to touch the tip of her staff with her arcane focus in it and cast light.
It lights up. All right. Now you all can see as though we're bright light. You look around the room, this large chamber. It's not quite exactly circular. It's more kind of an oval, oblong shape. You can see that the ceiling rises to about maybe 60 feet above you. Again, here and there you see scaffolding that looks like it's standing. You don't know if it's going to continue to stand if you try to climb on it. You're not sure that you want to risk it. But you see every once in a while in the light flickering like a vein of ore in the stone. Whatever this is, it's still pretty prominently a good working mine. It doesn't appear as though there's a lot of foot traffic. The dust that's on the floor hasn't been disturbed. Give me a survival check, please, Chief, as you were the first one to enter in. Okay. You can definitely tell there's been no movement within this vicinity for quite some time. You look across the entirety, which the width of the whole thing is probably about 80 feet, and then the length of it, or the breadth of it, is about 120 feet. So like I said, it's like a big, oval room. Shaped kind of like a racetrack, straightaways and then curved on the end. There you go. That's the way to look at it. Running around it 4 times equals a mile. Just kidding.
Shall we take a look around? Because I'm seeing no activity in this area.
I mean, I suppose we could have Ugdathar check the upper levels, since it looks like they're not going to exactly hold us.
You look around. There is a member of your party that's not there.
I bet you he's...
Yinthir.
I mean, yes, but I bet you he's terrorizing Silverhaven.
Probably.
He has been particularly quiet.
Too quiet.
We could have gotten bored.
Ugdathar is not in this immediate area.
You know what? Okay. So there's upper levels and then there's lower levels, but the upper levels are on scaffolding that we don't think will hold us.
So it's like, imagine there's these sheer walls that make up this room, and that the ceiling of it is quasi-domed. The walls have scaffolding around them. Not all of the walls, but large sections of it have scaffolding. it just dawned on me, are you wearing a Christmas tree onesie?
Yes, Jack is wearing a Christmas tree onesie.
Are you wearing a Christmas tree onesie?
Oh, yes. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh no.
I have a star.
Oh yes.
That's okay. Ready? Are you ready? I'm now the DM.
But you're not a
I even
Christmas.
have. Look at that.
Steve just wants to
Steve
feel
is
included.
great.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
As his headset falls off.
You find yourself. Wait. You find yourself deep in the dungeon. All right. So, because that's not who I am. Got to make sure the hair looks good. All right. You see the scaffolding. Like I said, it doesn't cover the entirety of the room, but there are large sections of the scaffolding, and the scaffolding looks old. Unless you're ultimately like really familiar with scaffolding and your background says, "Hey, yeah," you're not really sure of the condition of it. It could be perfectly fine, but you know that it's probably been here for a while, as it's covered in dust and particulates and things like that.
Is it
So you're
wooden
not really
scaffolding or?
Yes, wooden.
Okay.
I bet you this stuff's been here longer than I've been on this planet.
You're probably right.
Given the age of the dwarf that you met, possibly, yeah.
Okay, so let's clear out the bottom floor then. Because we can see up on the scaffolding, there shouldn't be anything up there that is hiding. They're not very big.
As you cross, where are you going to? So imagine this big room has the shape of like a high school track or football field. So it's long along the edges, curved at either end. It's 80 feet across the width of it. The length of it is about 120 feet. And the scaffolding is just kind of here and there around it as you go.
Is there any like pathways out of this chamber?
It just seems like the one that you came in. And then you'd have to cross over because the light source in your dark vision only goes so far.
Okay, then she's going to start walking down in the center of the room.
Okay. As you cross over the center, you see small tunnels on the side. Probably about, if you're in the center, it'd be about 30 feet to your left off of the center. You see what looks like holes in the walls. Mostly circular-ish, I should say. But here and there, they are pockmarked in the walls on that side. Looking to your right, you can see a few more of them. The total number of holes is about 8. Scattered, not kind of kind of unevenly on either side.
Are they of the size that Gillet and Narnath would be able to go through them with moderate ease?
On their hands and knees, absolutely.
That's the ideal position.
I'm gonna go behind Arnett.
Yeah, I bet you are, Yenfear.
They're small enough so that any of the party members to get through those holes would have to be on their hands and knees. You have to
Okay.
crawl through.
I'm going to bring this. I'm going to walk over to one of them and bring the staff down to shine some light in. And I'm kneeling on the ground so I can look. Do I see anything?
Give me a perception check, please.
And I'd like to say that I am with Callista.
Same.
Okay. All right. You guys are all around there. You don't see anything in this. It's the tunnel seems to, or the crawl space seems to go on out of your sight.
Are there any tracks?
Give me a survival check. No. None that you can see right offhand.
Okay. Are we checking all the holes?
Well, I mean, we can check some of them and see if any of them have tracks, which will narrow down if we have to go into any of them. But I'm going to continue looking for a pathway. Not just the holes, but like an actual pathway that we'd be able to walk down.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Quick
there's no way
question.
he made his entire living off of this room alone.
Is there perhaps also a chance that he sees these goblins the way that Tristan saw a lot of things?
Really?
Thanks for implanting that terrible thought in my brain.
That was just great. The way that Tristan saw a lot of things. Oh, that's I appreciate you so much. Sorry.
You're a treasure, Steve.
You're an asset, sir.
When I'm not being an unbearable douche.
That poor cobbler.
Only to that cobbler. So as long as you're not a shoemaker, you're safe.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so new retirement plan.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to check a couple of the other holes? Go ahead and give me. So there are 8 holes altogether. You've checked one of them. Do you want to check all of them? Okay, you're gonna split up and check them all, or?
That sounds like an awful idea. Sure.
I mean, they're all on the same side of the wall, so it's not like you're.
We won't be far
wandering
from each
away
other.
from-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sure,
You're not
we will.
splitting
We
the
will.
party. You're just kind of checking the wall.
We are spacing the party out. But yes, I think we will check all of them.
You are making it a not optimal fireball group.
Yeah.
So all right. So let's go ahead then and have Callista go ahead and give me 2 perception checks. Okay. Yenfear, go ahead and give me 1.
I'm really in love with my cat, you guys. Like, I don't know if you know this. Perception?
We had an inkling.
Perception check. Okay. 2, 4, 6. Okay. Gillett, give me 2 perception checks, please. Okay. And then Arneth, give me 2. Okay. So, looking down the tunnel, the second one you don't see anything. The first one, however, is what prompted you to check the second one. The first one appears to have, it goes forward and then kind of drops down, and you don't know where. It looks like it drops down, but you can see here and there what appear to be like notches knocked out of the wall, and you can see what it looks like is their handholds. But you don't see anything else in that one. I'm going to come back to Yenfear in a minute. Gillett, the tunnels seem to run on in a distance outside of your vision. One of them runs straight ahead. The other one seems like it kind of winds off somewhere. Chief, the first one for Arneth seems to run and turn and twist down out of sight. The second one seems like it goes forward ahead about 20 feet and then climbs up from what you can see. And just like what Callista saw, you see what looks to be like notches out of the stone, as though something could use it for like foot and handholds. Yenfear. The tunnel continues. The tunnel that you're looking at is kind of the middlemost, not the middle tunnel, but the middle, next to the middlemost tunnel. And it goes straight ahead. And then it looks like it opens up into another larger, like another chamber, another round room. And there's a slight sound in there that you can hear. And it's a but not just one voice. There seems to be quite a few of them.
Well, guess that means I have to invest.
Are you climbing in the tiny hole?
Am I climbing in the tiny hole?
Are you telling anyone that you're climbing into the tiny hole?
Are you just gonna look over and see this fancy lad just climbing in the hole? You just see booted feet trying to push its way through this hole.
This hole was made for me.
I need to go home.
Go back to your home, you stupid ball.
My cat doesn't love me anymore, you guys. I'm super sad. I will just. Who's closest to me?
I would probably say that Callista might be the closest to you.
Okay, I'm gonna go and tell her that I'm gonna. So, like, if she hears screaming, probably do something.
So, just drop a fireball in there?
I mean, you could.
I mean, I would if I had fireball, but I don't. So,
But I
can.
do.
Sure, why not?
So if I hear you screaming, I'm to drop fireball in that hole.
As soon as I say that I have protection from energy on, absolutely.
What's the concentration and duration on that? Is it concentration and what's the duration, I should say?
It's concentration, but it's up to 1 hour, and its casting time is
Okay.
1.
So you can cast it quickly and then climb in the hole. That way you
That's
Or
can
you
say,
could,
true.
yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Or,
Bards, how do
or
they even?
alternatively, we could just make sure that they don't have anything else to investigate, and then we all go down together.
That's stupid. I'm gonna go.
And then in the hole you go.
Yes.
Okay, good luck. And she's just gonna kind of like gently push you towards said hole, and then she's going to move over to Gillet and Arneth and tell them exactly what the fuck Yennefer's doing.
That dummy
He's
went in the hole.
doing what?
He's going-
investigating strange noises by himself.
All right, as you
Well, I guess I'll watch.
As you slide through the hole, it's you have to crawl on hands and knees, but it's not like stupid tight. You know, there's wiggle room in there. You move about 40 feet ahead of you, and all of a sudden your hands, you see where the end of the tunnel is, and your hand reaches out into nothingness.
Ooh.
And you look around, you can see that there's about a 10-foot drop to the ground. Here and there, you see small bodies laying down. The smell that hits you is a bit rancid. And yeah, it's stinky. Mixed with like a real earthy smell too. It's kind of gross. It's unwashed, is what it is. And you can see every once in a while, one of them twitches, and there's a noise. There's just groups of them here and there. Looking about it and taking just a quick second, you can see a total of about 12 altogether. Give me another perception check while you're at it, please. No light in here, so it's dim. It's actually going to be a disadvantage.
Ah,
Damn it.
Looking at the room here and there, your eyes lay on what looks to be the form of some sort of mining equipment, maybe pickaxes or something like that.
Okay.
Hammers, chisels, things. And that's what you see in this room.
Right, I'm gonna scoot on back.
Okay. You kind of push your way backwards through there out into the main chamber. Everybody's still looking at you expectantly, like, should we have dropped the fireball or not?
There's like a bunch of sleeping goblins, I think, in there. I don't know. It's really smelly, really gross. Do you want to kill them? Be my guest.
could they just have been like really gross dwarves?
maybe.
I don't want to accidentally kill townsfolk.
Who's gonna know?
We'll know.
I'll know.
Okay, fine. Well, we could wake them up and see.
I mean, I could
Excuse
go
me, are
down
you
there.
evil goblins?
I could go down there with the light.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yennefer, are you okay?
Yeah. Why?
You seem very distracted.
No,
and
I'm fine.
Given Ugdathar's teasing that wasn't even directed at you, it seems a little strange that you would be so distracted.
Fine, I'm just tired. Get in the hole.
Me. Honestly. What's wrong, Cap? I'm just tired.
I'm just tired. I'm just so
My secret. It's my secret. I'm always tired. All right, so who's going first into the hole?
I vote Callista. Be a smart ass about it.
With your light spell.
I guess I'm going into the hole first.
Your stuff so bright. Won't you guide this party tonight? All right, so you take off down the little tunnel. On hands and knees, your staff going in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Your light shines on a chamber that is about maybe 10 feet high. You're like at the ceiling, and then it drops down 10 feet into this little pit. It's a mostly circular chamber, chiseled out of the stone. You see tools laying all over the place, metal, or not metal, but earthworking tools, hammers, chisels, pickaxes, things like that. And you do see what appear to be little green goblins laying here and there. You
How many?
see about 12, and you see pith helmets and other gear and equipment laying around them. A few torches here and there. They're all currently just sleeping quietly.
How big is the room?
I would say about 22 feet across at the widest point. Like I said, it's not completely circular, but close enough. Yes, you could drop a fireball in that room and completely engulf it if you wanted to.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Hey, look, I was contracted
We're just
to
doing our
take
job.
care of goblins. I'm just doing my job.
Sure. All right. And go ahead, and I need to give you 12 dexterity saving throws, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
And you need to roll some damage for me.
Yes, sir.
You monster. That's a failure with a 7. That's a success. No, that's a failure with a 13. Hold on, I need to
Yeah, my DC
remind
is 16.
myself. Yeah, I need to remind myself how squishy goblins were or are. Were. Jesus.
There's a slip for you.
And of course, while you're doing that,
Ooh, yeah. Oh, okay. I was actually using the right numbers. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to tell you right now that even if they succeed, at 15 points of damage, it smells suddenly of insta-roasted goblin. It is... The entire room is just now an Instapot of goblin stew.
That's gross.
And they're
That's
just...
gross.
It's not a
not
pressure
great.
cooker. It's just... Boom! Flash. There's just a burst of light. where were you when the world stopped turning? Where were you when you cast this? Were you right there at the edge of the pit?
Yeah.
Okay, you know you're going to get caught in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw. Okay, so you take a quarter of the damage, so you take like 7 hit points. You take 7 points of damage.
Oh.
If you take half plus your resistance, so that's halved again. So you take
Yeah.
like 7 points of damage as this whole fire just rolls out, finding the only escape route it can. Was anybody else in the tunnel?
No.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no.
You're like, now that I know it's gonna happen.
She backs her way out, and her clothes are singed, but she's quite happy with herself
She's
because
just like patting her down.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where I learned prestidigitation. Clean.
I mean, at the same time though, she's quite happy with herself because fire is nice and warm, and it doesn't affect her the same way it affects everybody else.
Well, it definitely doesn't affect you the way it affected that 12 goblins that were in that room.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now
So
they are all just charred bodies. It is a disgusting look.
They're all
you
dead.
did it.
Well,
Okay.
that sect of goblins, yes, I'm sure there are more.
You
I'd like to go
stink,
into
by
the
the way.
room
Just
to
saying.
check.
Okay.
I'd give it a couple minutes for it to clear out.
It smells bad.
Well, not
I'll
just the
breathe in
smells,
my
but I'm
mouth.
assuming there's like small little tendrils of smoke like just coming out of the hole.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, you just. Do you really want to breathe in goblin particles?
it's in my
That's
mouth.
gross.
It's in my mouth.
Ugh.
Gross.
You got it in my mouth.
Goblin
All right.
dust.
Gross. All right, you climb through the little tunnel
Mm-hmm.
and you drop to the ground. It's 10 feet down. Not too bad.
Yep.
You look around, and what are you looking for? Anything in particular?
Any reason for why the goblins were there in the first place? Was it just they're sleeping?
Give me a perception check, please. Or actually, give me an investigation check.
He's having a nap.
Investigate. There it is.
Okay. It takes you a few minutes of rifling through the debris, and you come across a pack that's mostly charred. But there is, inside there, a leather scroll case that survived the fire for the most part.
Mhm.
As you uncap it, it unfurls the whole thing, parchment being attached to it. And it is the mining rights for this particular location. The signature on it is scrawled and not very well written, but enough that the person is literate, but just not very well.
Handwriting we perhaps have seen before.
Perhaps you have.
Okay. I'm going to roll that back up and
Mhm.
just like put it in my bag for now.
Looking around the room, you also notice, although a lot of them are now covered in soot, but you see in the vague little light that glimmers through from the light spell that Callista had cast, the occasional sparkle of what appears to have been maybe an uncut gem or some other valuable or precious or otherwise stone or ore. Not in the wall, but like laying in small piles here and there, as though they were mined from this room and then set aside.
Is it ore that we've seen in the first room?
Yeah, some of it's the ore that you saw in the first room, and there are also gemstones that are in this room as well. Like I said, uncut, but there are gemstones here.
Okay. Well, now that I've seen that, I'm not gonna touch the gems or anything. I'm going to head back to where I fell in.
You have the scroll. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You are 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
Give me a climb check to get back into the tunnel from where you are. Be athletics.
Well,
You dig your hand and feet into little handholds that are cut, but your big half-orcish fat fingers and feet slip from the handhold, and you don't get anywhere. You realize that, okay, this is going to take a bit more than that. You can definitely try again if you would like, if you're so inclined, or you can just admit defeat and yell for someone to throw you a rope.
I would like to try again.
Okay, go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Okay.
Literally the other end of the spectrum, and with a 26,
How the
critical
fuck,
20.
bitch? How the fuck?
You are angry at yourself for that first slip, and this time you step back, run up, plant your toe in the first one hand, and then kind of leap, push yourself up, grab the lip, and just haul yourself into the hole. Be like, I got this shit.
Fuck you.
Trying to front, son.
I'm a
All
strong,
right.
independent half-orc who don't need no help.
Okay.
I'm going to crawl back out and I guess show Yinfir the scroll that I found.
Okay.
Yinfir and whoever else is standing around.
Okay. Like, I'm an idiot. Why show me anything? But okay.
Do you not know me?
Because believe it or not, Arnef values your thoughts and opinions.
That sure looks like writing.
Look at that. There's writing on that paper.
Oh
All right. Give me a perception check as you're shown this piece of paper.
Is anyone else around?
Oh, all right.
Come on. Oh.
There's that single digit.
Oh.
Gillet, it's writing. It doesn't make sense to you.
I don't know.
To the other two, though, you recognize this is mining rights that have been signed over by the original owner and given to what appears to be the name of Snagosh Broken Tooth.
What a name. What a
Typical
name.
goblin name.
Typical goblin.
So he hired us to kill the people he sold the mine to.
Oh.
I don't know if that was Steve or Gillet, but either way, I loved it. Loading.
Oh my god. Honestly, me though. Well, that sucks. Well, that's shitty. Now I feel bad.
I mean, it's not
Worst
technically
person ever.
it's not technically our moral place to decide what our contracts say and what they don't.
But they were innocent and we killed them.
Well,
Adventure!
I'm retired.
actually, technically, you didn't do a damn thing.
But I told you to do it.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, but I
You
could
know,
have chosen
pretend I
not
don't
to.
care about other people, but I do care a lot about other people. And this makes me feel
He
awful.
did it. It's all on her. Blame her.
However, Arnath, if you wouldn't mind, and she holds her hand out for the parchment.
Okay. Hand it over.
You have
Okay.
the parchment. What are you doing
Yep.
with it?
I know. I gotta double check something.
Okay.
There were also mind gems in the other room.
You
Wait,
can't just say
gems?
they're yours.
What? Sorry, what?
Cap, would I be able to use thaumaturgy to set this thing on fire?
So thaumaturgy could take and fire that's there and make it kind of
Okay.
burn brighter, but you'd have to have a source of flame.
Have to have a source of flame. Okay. Then she is going to light a torch and set this thing on fire. She is going to burn the deed that they found.
All right.
You've probably got like 2 chances to stop her from doing this, by the way, because it takes a little bit
One
to get a
as
lit
she's lighting the
torch, and the other as I'm setting fire to the deed.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of look at her lighting the torch, and then I'm gonna try and stop her. What do I
All
gotta
right, what
do?
about you? Okay, so first of all, you see her lighting the torch. She's got the paper. Yenfir, you're going to try to stop her once she gets the torch lit.
Yeah, because I kind of
Yes.
see what she's planning. I see it in her little demonic little eyes.
Yell it.
Wow, rude. That's racist.
Gillet has no idea what's going on, so he's going to keep letting it happen until he finally recognizes that she's holding the paper toward the fire.
Arneth.
Yeah, I'll try to stop her.
While she's lighting the torch or afterwards?
While.
Okay. You are going to. What are you going to do to try to stop her?
I would just like to remove the parchment from her hand.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm not trying to be careful
Oh,
about
you're not
it.
trying to be careful about it. You're just trying to snatch it from her.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? Give me opposing dexterity checks.
So just straight dexterity?
Straight dexterity rolls.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh my god!
I would like to legitimately point out that technically, while Chief has the higher roll, that Maddie actually rolled higher. It's just the modifier that allows Chief to quickly grab the parchment from Callista's hands. Are you going to continue to light the torch?
Oh yeah, the torch is now lit. Because it doesn't
Okay.
matter if it's in my hands. If I can set that thing on fire, I'm going to.
Can I just grab your wrist real quick? Can I
You
just
can certainly try.
keep it? I will
Alright.
with my 0
It's going-
modifier.
Okay, it's going to be a grapple check, which is going to be your athletics or strength if you don't have athletics, versus Callista's dexterity or athletics, depending on which whenever you or dexterity, acrobatics, or strength athletics, whichever one you want to use. Jack, keep in mind that you're a bard, so therefore you would have jack of all trades. You can roll athletics because you would automatically get half of your proficiency bonus added into that. So in other words, for you, Jack, roll athletics. There you go.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna pretend I know what I mean.
You want to roll against that?
I mean, yeah, because I had a higher
Yeah.
modifier, but
Quickly grabs your wrist, and Yenfir now has Callista's wrists.
Whoa. Can't we all just get along here? What's
Okay, maybe don't burn vital information. That we
vital
can use.
information? You mean information that labels us killers? Information that he's going to turn around and turn us into the local guard because we've handled his problem. He's now got money, and he hired somebody to fucking kill them, so now he doesn't have to pay the adventurers when everything is all said and done?
Okay, but with the contract said that like he misled us, so we could just bring it back to the guild and say that we were misled and give our evidence here.
And they're gonna believe the misleading over the fact that we just murdered the rightful owners to a fucking mine?
I mean, we didn't know they owned it until after they were dead.
That's not a defense.
I mean, it kind of is. Listen, I'm not a law person or anything, but I'm pretty sure if we just bring the contract that we agreed to, and we bring this and say that we were misled and something horrible happened as a result, and it's all his fault, I'm sure that nothing bad will happen to us.
I'm gonna have to politely disagree with you.
Not loving your pessimism right now.
They're not going to believe us. We are adventurers. We are not from here. He is a pillar of the community, she says, and like the torch is like moving around as she's like doing her quotation marks. He is a pillar of the community, which means his word is going to carry more weight than ours, regardless of the evidence. If he says that we just went down there and overpowered him, which isn't going to be some stretch of imagination. Have you seen those two? And she's going to point the torch at Gillet and Arneth. And if you think Ugdathar is going to help us and not make the situation worse, you have another thing coming.
How do you know that he hasn't already?
Exactly!
No,
What?
I mean, how do you know that that's real?
What?
Good point. Is it enchanted?
I don't know. Do you have a way of telling if it's enchanted?
Do
I
any
have-
of
I
us
have
have
detect
detect
ma-
magic anymore?
I do! I do! I have
dispel
detect magic. I have detect magic.
Okay, then do your thing then.
Well, I need you to let go of my wrists! I
Let
will
go of
hand
the
you the
wrist.
torch so that I don't
And I
burn
take the torch.
parchment.
You
God.
crazy woman. God.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to stop prestidigitation, but sure.
I don't have prestidigitation.
That was the wrong term.
You mean thaumaturgy?
Whatever.
Why are we whispering?
Thaumaturgy, the divine version of prestidigitation.
She is going to sit down and cast detect magic because it's a ritual cast.
Okay, so about 10 minutes later,
Mm-hmm.
the parchment glows completely with illusion magic.
Well,
Well, this has illusion magic on it. Would you mind dispelling that for us there, Yenfir? And yes, Gillet, you were right.
not at all.
Give him a kiss.
And as you wave your hand over it, dispelling the magic, there's kind of like the Tinkerbell kind of, and all that's left is the leather scroll case. There's nothing inside there. And from inside the cave, echoing, you hear, "I almost had you. Almost had you all. It was such a good trick." You weren't expecting it, were you? Huh? It was a good one. I must say. Probably some of my final work yet.
You are an asshole.
This was up for
Callista is
debate.
going to douse the torch, slip it back into her pack, and then just kind of walk over and just rest her head against Gillet's upper arm and just like, I fucking hate this man. I hate this man so much.
I take great offense to being called a man. I am no mere mortal.
She just doesn't even look at him, just finger
Hand
out.
up.
Just, yep,
Just middle finger in the face.
yep, just
I might be ancient, but I think that still translates to be the same thing. I don't appreciate that either.
I
Look,
don't give a damn.
I was bored, and for a moment there was a lot of excitement in this room. Ha ha! I told you would be an endless font of entertainment. So,
Wait, I told
Well,
you that. Wait, why did I tell you that?
She's
Thank
just
you for
gonna
the
like
insight.
lean back and look up at Gillet and just be like, this is your fault.
Yeah,
Oh my.
he
but
wasn't
at
wrong.
least he's out of Adelar, right?
Haha, yeah.
Yeah.
And the party turns, and I once again get rid of a character without causing a death.
No. She just shakes her head and then puts her head back down on his bicep, just like I'm fucking done with this. Just let's finish this so we
what
can
is
get out of
very
here.
interesting? Do you know how much magic it took to conjure 12 goblins to be in the room at the same time? Please, that was impressive itself. You should appreciate all that I go through to keep myself entertained. Yes?
No.
So, but what?
Give me a perception check, everybody.
Gillet, you
All
can do
four
it.
of you.
You can do it.
Put it together, Gillet. Come on.
String your swords together, honey.
You did it.
Receiving the fuck out of that.
We believe in you. What is with you and the loaded dice?
Yeah, what is
If it
this?
weren't for the fact that it was digital, I'd think you were cheating. This is like last Tuesday. I'm going to put you up against this creature. Crit. Mother.
Well, I
On the
guess it's
same
fucking
attack.
dead.
Advantage. Rolls a crit on the first attack. Rolls a crit on the second attack. Literally my words. Well, fuck this thing, I guess.
I heard that. I was in chat, and I'm like, what the
Yes.
fuck did they do?
What did we do?
Gambling.
What did we do? Chief just... You know what, Chief? I'm going to need you to enter the lottery.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
And you're
Like
just
5 or
gonna
6
have to...
times, it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to split the money between all of us after you've got all your debts paid off.
Lucky for
That's
you, I
where we
have
just-
no debts.
Oh, you're
Oh,
This is
even
where-
better! There's more money to
This
split!
is look. This is where Chief buys a small, like, former warehouse, renovates half of it into living quarters for all of us, and the rest of it into the studio for Direbear Adventuring Company.
obvious.
Mhm.
And then
After
we
you
all
make
just
your
move to a
secret-
central location.
Oh,
All right,
wouldn't
so-
that be cool?
Now, if only I had the cash. You look around, Chief, and there are no holes in the opposite wall. There are no little handholds. There's nothing. There's nothing in there. It's just a smooth, mostly smooth wall. I mean, it's a rock, so it's not smooth, but you know what I mean. There's nothing there.
Where the hell are
You
we?
hear,
Where the
you
hell
hear-
are we?
no, you're in
hell?
that room is still. I mean, that original room is still there, but the little tiny holes that you guys crawled through, nothing.
Mhm.
And Ugdithar goes, I was convinced that you would pick up the gemstones. That would have been entertaining as well. I must say that I am impressed in your ability to pass up the temptations of life. You are truly formidable. I'm not sure that it is any way to honestly sway you away from whatever path that you are on. To say that you are truly wholesome and good is kind of disgusting, but probably accurate. How do you live with yourself without all the moral ambiguities that are rife with these others? It's honestly a puzzlement. I think that I will stay with you longer just to see what becomes of you. Make it my personal goal to try to corrupt you in some way.
No. Enough of the corruption talk, sir.
That's Yenfear's job.
Well, I would say that I would corrupt him, but I mean, have you seen him? Talking about Yenfear, his emotions like up and down to Yenfear. Have you seen him? A bit of a mess. So, I mean, a colorful mess, but still a mess, nonetheless. So, shall we get out of the dark, dank, stinky mine and tell the crazy dwarf that he is crazy, that the goblins have been handled and he has nothing more to fear from them?
Have the goblins been handled?
Remember what I was
Take a
saying
look
about Tristan?
Take a look around the room. Do you see any goblins here?
She wants to walk, like, Callista wants to walk to the end of the room to make sure there isn't a pathway.
Go ahead and give me a perception check as you get there. Yeah, no, there's no pathways. It seems like this was the only room. You can tell that the operation within this location, given what you know of working mines and ore and stuff like that, this wasn't a big operation. This seems like a single family thing. This isn't something that was worked for years and years by a large corporation or a big mining company. It seems like it was a small thing.
Is it clear down there?
Yep.
Ugdathar is standing towards the entrance. Well, are you coming or not?
Explain one thing to me.
If I may, or if I can.
What the fuck did we crawl into?
You are familiar with magic, are you not?
Yes.
Sometimes the illusion is not really what you are crawling into, but what your mind thinks that you are doing.
That answer at all.
No,
Some
that
illusions can seem
answers
so
it
real.
perfectly.
Some illusions are so real, but they are only inside your mind.
Like you guys watching Arnath swan dive off the battlements.
Please don't remind me.
It was all an illusion.
But he never actually jumped, did he? He was in his bed the whole time. He woke up. Where? At the bottom of the battlements? No. He woke up in his bed. But it was so real. And the pain, such a realistic thing, that you felt it. I would say in your bones, but that would be a bit too on the nose.
Okay. Well, we need to tell this gentleman that he is seeing things and it is time for him to retire and be taken care of by whatever family he has left.
Somebody should put him out of his misery. So, shall we go then? Tell the crazy dwarf that he is crazy indeed. There is nothing to see here.
Callista is going to walk up, back up and out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yenfear's.
All right.
There is a jaunty Ugdathar in front of you, making his way out of the tunnels, and as he is, he's whistling to himself happily.
He's such a troll.
You make so he is. Thank you so much to Ryan, wherever you are. If you are seeing this, thank you so much for taking that deal.
Fuck you, Ryan.
This is awful.
He had no idea what he unleashed.
Oh, yeah.
You make your way out to the building, and you see the hammer hand standing there. Oh! The old dinner.
Yes, your goblins are taken care of. However, there were no goblins, so to speak. I think it is time for
Yes,
you
there were.
to... Of course there were. We handled them. It's all good and all done.
Hey, sign off on the contract then. Hand over.
I'm
We
sorry.
used fireball. They're all
What?
dust.
Do I look like somebody who's just going to carve ears off of a goblin? I incinerate
No.
things.
The paper. Hand over the contract. I'll sign off. The paper.
Oh, the contract. Gillet, you have that. Or Arnath.
Oh yes. I don't remember which one of us did, but
No, I grabbed it and showed it.
One of y'all's.
One of the two of you
Alright.
have it.
you
He
there.
takes it. He
Which
takes it from
parchment?
Arnath. All right. And he takes a piece of like burnt stick that's made into charcoal, and you watch as he scrawls. This he takes and holds it on the hammer, and then scrawls with his right hand on it. Hands it back to you with his right hand. You try to hand it with the left. His left hand is the hammer. He hands it back to you with his right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Anyway, then.
Thank you.
Just let us know if
No,
you
but a
need
lot
us
of you-
again. We're happy to
Course,
help.
Cars, send her the contract out if you need you.
Hmm.
Have a good day. Take care. I'll get you a drink. Goodbye now. Get out.
Callista is going to go to one of the larger forges and ask for directions to the Adventurer's Hall.
Okay.
Hood is back up.
Oh, the hood is back up? Okay.
Yep.
Good deal. You make your way back to one of the other forges. They tell you that it's back down towards the kind of the town center, like the main hub. And you can see now, as you were walking, the alleyways are these kind of spoke-like things in this giant wheel. And as you make your way down towards what you assume to be the center of the town, this large conglomerate of buildings that are just ramshackled, assembled into a structure. You can see that, like row houses, there's one of them that is labeled clearly with the Adventurers Guild crest on it. Stepping inside, you see a young dwarf standing behind the desk. The board here is a well-organized thing, and there are nicely ordered parchment telling you which jobs are outlined. Above the top of them, there are categories for them: search and rescue, vermin extermination, things like that. You know, it has different like headings for each one, and then each one of them is organized underneath it. The young dwarf that's there, his beard is a golden colored, and it comes down to about here on his chest. His hair is perfectly cut and shaped. And he, you know, kind of like Hemsworth from Thor, that kind of a tight shape there.
Arnath is in love.
He has this nice vest on. Underneath, he has white sleeves that are rolled up to just below the elbow. A chain hangs from the pocket in the vest. And as you walk in, he's putting a pocket watch back into the pocket. He takes a pair of glasses out and sets them on his nose and says, "Welcome to the Adventurers Guild. How can I help you today?" You're picking up an assignment.
I'm gonna
Or
say
you turning on in?
that Arnath is way too flustered just from this beautiful dwarf's beard and his gorgeous
He's
hair.
got the big cheeks and they're rosy, you know. He's got the mustache that nearly covers the mouth. You can't really make it out, but you know.
So I'm just gonna give the right to Callista.
As you hard eyes in the corner.
Yeah.
Callista is going
Alright.
to take the writ and
Look at you.
kind of just slap it down on the desk.
Just imagine Arnath isn't saying anything, just ha ha. and like hitting Callista in the shoulder with the paper, like trying to force it to her.
Just slapping it at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put it on the. He takes and arranges it, looks it over carefully.
Tell me, how is the hammer hand? I take it he's well then. He's doing all right.
Well, he's existing.
Yeah, that's about the best you can ask for these days.
Well, here we go. And he takes the paper and does the customary where he rolls it up, stamps it, and then rolls it up. Putting it away, he takes the strong box out that you're used to seeing, opens it up, and he takes out 5 marks and puts them down. And then closes the lid.
Eventually he'll run out of money, and then maybe he'll quit taxing people with this job. It's about every 4 or 5 months he comes in insisting that the goblins have taken over the mines. There's been nobody working those mines in ages. But he won't take no for an answer, and eventually we at least talk him down on the price that he's willing to pay for ridding themselves of the goblins. Do you know the crazy old bastard came in asking for 100 gold pieces for imaginary goblins? Can you imagine? It's crazy, I tell you. Don't know what we're going to do with him.
Well, if he wants to foolishly spend his gold on fool's errands, then I say let him.
That's true. It is his money to spend. He is a grown dwarf after all. Well, thank you very much. Please check the board if there's anything in particular that you're looking for. A few of the jobs there.
I'm looking for a shop that would sell magical items.
Oh, well, you are in Silverhaven, so that's plenty around that'll do that. If you'll go up the street, probably about, I'd say no more than maybe 100 yards, you should find a couple of shops there that might sell you what you're looking for. Mind you, of course, some are more reputable than others, so just mind out which ones.
Of course. What would you suggest?
Anybody run by a dwarf should be good. I don't have an occasion to spend my money there, of course, as you know.
Of course, thank you. And we'll check out the board and see if there's anything else that we could pick up to assist in the locality.
All right. And as you stand there looking at the job board, trying to figure out where your next adventure is going to take you, an annoying trickster god at your shoulder, magic items ringing in your ears at the possibility of purchasing and replacing things that are missing. We're going to go ahead and call it a night. We'll pick up next week with you guys trying to figure out which job you're going to take and where you're going to be.
And how fake it's going to be at the end of it all.
I'd love to thank Maddie, who is playing Callista, Jack playing Yenfear, Steve playing Gillet, and Chief, who is playing Arneth. You guys, tune in Wednesday. We'll be playing Alone in the Void. Our doctor, played by Maddie, who there's an illness that's spreading through the colony. Our captain, who is played by Jack, and the crew that are on the other planet have left the warehouse area of this knowledge repository because they were being rushed out by basically slow lorises with giant teeth, only to find the Tritomus and the Praetor were not alone in the room, but there is a large 6-limbed creature that is there within there. And that's Alone in the Void on Wednesday, starting at 5 p.m. Central Time. Come see what we've got in store for our crew. Again, we'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. We love you guys so much. And if you don't tune in on Wednesday, we will definitely see you on next Monday. We'll be back again with more Foundations of Adelar. Until then, take care of yourselves. We love you. Have a good night and have a great week.